By the Emperor's light, another warp breach! Purge the heretics for the Emperor! Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. So, last time, we finally finished up Footfall, but before we head off into the wild blue yonder, I still have a ship full of people who want to talk to me. So, we are going to start off with taking a bath, because we are still covered in the filth of Footfall's sewers. And then, we have some leveling up to do, and some other people who need to speak with us. Hello? I have been needing this bath for 3 episodes, if not more. Alright. Now we have quite a few people. We've got Heinrix, Pascal, and Jay. Aw, have we already done Cavella? You know what? I want to talk to Pascal. At once. An oily patch spreads slowly outward from the Magos. Oh, he actually joined me in here? Shut the fuck up. Okay. The smell of lubricant fills the bath chamber. This receptacle is deemed adequate for the execution of the cleaning protocol. I really hope that none of these are decisions, because I really want to say number 6, but... Buddy, you are leaking oil. This statement is true. The disposal of waste substances is an integral part of the cleaning protocol? Dude! Not when I'm 2 feet away from you! Why are you taking a bath with your clothes on? It is prohibited to expose the true flesh in the presence of lay people. My raiment will not hinder the cleaning protocol. Will you not rust? No! The Omnissiah has granted the sacred chromium resistance to the plague of rust. Well, that's good to hear. You are welcome to stay, Pascal. Your presence does not inconvenience me in the slightest. This unit is grateful for the invitation. It will exit the receptacle upon completion of the cleaning protocol. How long will you take to complete your cleaning protocol? The procedure will take 1 standard ship hour. Yeah, fine. You are more than welcome to hang out, my friend. Pascal emits a satisfied binaric aria. I thank you for the invitation, Lemedicus. This abolition will be recorded in this unit's archive of significant events. Aww. Thank you, buddy. Okay. Now that I am finally free and clear of the filth of Footfall's sewers, let's just double check this real quick. Yeah, I think this is where I was storing all my specialty stuff. I have really got to clear out my inventory, but I can do that off camera. That way I'm not wasting too much of everybody's time. To the bridge. Now, let's see. Who are we going to talk to first? Where is Goth Mommy? Is she around here somewhere? Hello? Letard Forius? I don't remember talking to you, but I'm not going to talk to you first. Argenta, Heinrix. Where is Goth Mommy? Do quick once over. See if we cannot see her. You know what? Actually, yes, she is over here. Okay, I think how we're gonna do this is Goth Mommy first, Argenta, Cassia, and then we'll talk to these four people. Abelard, Heinrix, and then we'll talk to these three, and then we'll go Jay, Pascal, Idira, and go turn in that quest that we need to. Hello, Goth Mommy.
Domin.
Really? Nothing new.
You wish to discuss this again? It is not difficult to speak the truth.
Huh.
May the Undying One shroud your footsteps from the faithless.
Okay, fair enough. Alright, Argenta it is then. Damn. I really wanted to at least attempt to flirt with Goth Mommy.
Greetings.
Let's see. Even in stillness, Sister Argenta radiates energy. With her dark eyes shining and a slight blush to her cheeks, she is reciting a prayer and looks at you only once she has spoken the final line. I'm waiting for you to tell me about your past and to explain the strange words of that cultist on Footfall.
Yes, I'm ready. I would ask only one thing of you, Rogue Trader. If I may, I would like to see the chamber of the sacred warrant and kneel before the relic touched by the Emperor himself. A difficult conversation lies ahead of us, and I wish to pray by the relic before I lay my soul bare.
Argenta, you are probably one of the only people on this ship that I actually trust, so of course. Let's go there right away. Argenta nods gratefully. There we go. Argenta drops to her knees, her hands making the sign of the Aquila. Her eyes are locked on the sweeping signature on the warrant, a seemingly mundane thing, merely a flourish on a piece of paper, unless one knows whose hand left that mark and whose blood is on that paper. If thou seest a flaw in me, smite me. If thou knowest a fall of mine, burn me, with flames of fury and righteousness. But if thou seest a light in me, grace me. If thou hearest this plea of mine, bless me, with a wrath of fury and of righteousness. Argenta's voice is sonorous, as if made for singing hymns and prayers. But right now she cannot seem to catch her breath, so overwhelmed with emotion is she. For I breathe by the will of thine, for I live by the law of thine. I carry thy word, O Emperor. I bring solace to servants of thine, and ruin to foes of thine, a fate of terror and righteousness. Upon finishing, she closes her eyes and remains silent for a long time with her head raised high. Slowly, like the first licks of a flame in a campfire, a smile blossoms on her lips. When Argenta finally opens her eyes, they are alight with uncanny resolution. Rogue Trader, we need to talk, or rather, I need to tell you something. The truth. The truth about how I ended up on Theodora von Valentius's ship, and about the cultists we encountered on Footfall. I'm listening. Please understand, I couldn't trust you before. I'll tell you my story and you'll see why. Argenta pauses. I'll start at the beginning. It's easier to piece everything together that way. Upon arriving in the Expanse on Footfall, I found no purpose here, only torment. I wasn't needed. The reliquary I had been assigned to safeguard was already well protected by Reverend Hieronymus's mission, and no one was even trying to defile it. For all its lawlessness, Footfall respects the worship of the Emperor. That was when Lady Theodora, head of your dynasty, appeared. She became an agent of divine will, in a way. Argenta falters, searching for the words. It was from her that I learned about a planet recently discovered by her scouts, Salus Prime. For a rogue trader, the planet was of little interest. A feral world, away from convenient warp routes. But for me, learning about its existence was a revelation. I've never heard of such a planet. Does it belong to the Von Valencius dynasty? Yes. Now, the planet is yours by right, but it's not as simple as that. The warp route leading to it was lost. I will explain in due time. May I continue? Yes, please do. I'm sorry for interrupting. The description of Salus Prime was familiar to me. It seemed very similar to a world from an ancient legend. The legend of Saint Argenta and her ship. Her voice grows reverent. Argenta, the living saint. She is my patroness. The order named me after her. She died millennia ago, when heretics caused her ship to fall from the skies. But even those blasphemers could not touch Argenta's ashes or her holy relic, the one star. For the fallen ship, which now served as the resting place for the saints' remains, would only allow the truly righteous to enter. All others would meet their death. I imagine what I felt when this flash of insight came upon me. The world where Saint Argenta's ship fell was merely a vague legend. No one knew its actual whereabouts, and suddenly I myself, named after the saint, came across this information. I realized at that moment that it was a portent, that I must journey to the planet and find the ship, and so I asked Reverend Hieronymus to let me go for a time on a personal pilgrimage. I boarded Theodora's ship and demanded passage to the newly discovered planet Salus Prime. Well, this time I have to interrupt, so... Why did you keep your superstition from Reverend Hieronymus? Supposition, sorry. From Reverend Hieronymus. Surely he could have helped you with the search for the ship and the saint's remains. I couldn't just come out and tell him. It was a portent revealed to me personally, can't you see? I told Reverend Hieronymus the honest truth, that I was going on a personal pilgrimage to embolden my spirit. It really was a pilgrimage. It was as if Saint Argenta herself had shown me the way, commanding me to undertake this trial. If I had found the ship and set foot on its decks, if I had laid my hand on her remains and the relic, it would have been a sign that I truly had been blessed with the saint's favor. No, that's understandable. Searching for your destiny, for your place in the world, is a special matter, a personal one. You either succeed at it or you don't. Argenta looks at you somewhat surprised. I thought that I had been called, that finding the ship was my destiny, my place in the world. Perhaps there is something to that. I imagine Theodora was thrilled with this prospect. Lady Theodora lent her assistance. It was her intention to visit the newly discovered world, and she took me with her. Well, thank you for telling me what we already knew. You mentioned something called the One Star. What is it? Apologies, I got so carried away that I forgot to explain. The One Star is a relic kept by Saint Argenta. I belong to the Order Pronatus, and we attach particular significance to holy relics. The One Star is one of the lost relics of the past, so mysterious that no one even knows what it is exactly. Argenta's hagiography at times calls it a banner, or a set of armor, or a blessed chainsword. One thing is certain, it was a beacon of righteousness, and it was lost with Argenta's death. What happened next? Defeat. The ship's augers failed to detect anything of note during orbital scanning. I was expected this, though, according to the legend, the ship can conceal itself from the naked eye, and only a pilgrim guided by a pure heart can find it. What I didn't expect was an ambush waiting for us on the planet. I landed there with a small unit provided by Theodora. I know Saint Argenta's hagiography by heart. I'm probably saying that wrong. It doesn't matter at this point. I know all the legends about her. I followed their obscure clues, the descriptions of mountains and rivers from millennia-old tales, and I was certain that I had found a way to the ship. That's when we were attacked. The words we heard in the heretic shrine on Footfall, something about ways, doors, pleas addressed to some lord, the edge of daybreak. They were the same words as those spoken by the cultists who attacked us on Salus Prime. My whole unit perished. All those honest, brave people I had led to search for the relic. It was only by a miracle that I didn't perish along with them. I didn't connect these events at first. The cultists on Footfall, the cultists on Salus Prime, the cultists attacking the ship, and Conrad's betrayal. What if these are all links in the same chain? What if they've long since infiltrated the ranks of the Von Valencia servants? What if I led those heretics to the sacred planet with my search? To be honest, it sounds like they were already there. Yeah, no need to blame yourself. If the heretics really had wormed their way into the Von Valencius ranks by then, they would have found the planet even without you going there. I doubt it. No one except me was particularly interested in the planet. Conrad, on the other hand, he sympathized with me when I first came aboard. He helped arrange an audience with Theodora and supported me in my effort to visit the planet. I never told him plainly why I wanted to go there, but I imagine that vulture must have figured out that it was something important, something related to the holy faith of the Imperium. What could delight a heretic more than defiling a relic? Yeah, I don't really want to rub this in your face, but it might add to our quest to go hunt the guy down. Sadly, the one who might have all the answers, Conrad, escaped. Oh yes, and I sincerely hope that we will meet him again. That serpent needs to answer a few questions before he is plunged into cleansing flame. I very much agree. So how did you manage to escape from the cultists? Argenta hangs her head. Theodora's people received the distress call, came to my rescue, and brought me aboard the ship. I barely remember what happened. When they arrived, I was already severely wounded, fighting back with whatever remained of my strength. I think I shouted that we had to go after them, but they didn't listen. They took me to the shuttle and pulled out. After that, it's all blackness. When I came to, we were already in the middle of a warp jump. Theodora had urgent matters to take care of, and she decided that she could clear out the planet at a later time. And that's why you didn't trust me before, correct? Yes, rogue trader. I saw with my own eyes how a member of your family showed his true colors as a servant of the archenemy. I had already suffered a humiliating defeat at the hands of cultists, and was afraid of another betrayal. I couldn't be forthright with you, and so I studied you, looking for the seeds of corruption or the light of righteousness. And what did you find? A man who stood shoulder to shoulder with me and helped eradicate the cultists on Footfall. Argenta smiles as if reminiscing about a pleasant evening spent in the company of friends rather than a bloody battle. More or less same difference. I mean, she is a sister of battle. Although my opinion of you started to change even before then, back when you agreed to talk to the orphans at my request. A leader who's willing to honor those who laid down their lives for them and take care of their children is a leader who inspires trust. And the way you acted in that moment. Do you remember? There was a young man whose grief and confusion had driven him to insolence. You didn't turn a blind eye to his misdeed, but you chose the right words to show him the path to redemption. It was harsh, but necessary. Like the Emperor's truth, like bitter medicine that helps the sick. I learned much about you in that moment, rogue trader, and I want to believe that I wasn't mistaken in my judgment. So, to clarify, you were wounded, so you never found Saint Argenta's ship, is that right? Yes, I rushed to Theodora the moment I could walk again, and I insisted on going back to Salus Prime to defend the relic from the heretics. But I was told that the warp had destroyed the old route to the planet, and that plotting a new one would take a great deal of time and effort, as if there couldn't be anything more important than protecting the faith and hunting down servants of the archenemy. In any event, the route was lost, and all knowledge of it died in the attack on the ship along with the old navigator. But now we have a new lead. The data that we collected in the cultist shrine on Footfall. I don't care what the reprobate we executed said, there must be a way to track them down. Tell me, rogue trader, will you help me in this undertaking? Will you help me find this great relic and return it to the people of the Imperium? You're goddamn right I will. All of these are decisions. There's nothing I wouldn't do to reclaim a sacred object for the people of the Imperium. Argenta walks up and places her hand on your shoulder. So be it, rogue trader. As I stand here before the warrant, the embodiment of the Emperor's will marked by his own hand, I vow that I will not relent until the holy relic has been returned and the heretics punished. And may the light be with us both on this path. I'm very glad to see you smiling again, Argenta. And we will get to that as soon as we possibly can. But unfortunately, we have quite a few other things to do on that path. Like wait for my potato to load. My God. We were just here. You can do it. Plenty of other people we gotta talk to. Oh, don't lie. Why do you do this every time? Don't say 100%, just hold at 99. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. Now we need to talk to Cassia. See if there's anything new she has to say. Hello, Cassia.
Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations.
Aww. Well, it saddens me that you don't have anything new to say.
I have enjoyed your company. Thank you for the conversation.
You're very welcome. What have you, Heinrix? The Lord Captain himself. To what do I owe the honor? Apparently nothing, Heinrix. I was hoping I'd be able to turn that quest in with you, but I guess not. How about you, helmsman grandpa? Ooh. Yes, there is. The tall man before you appears to be woven from tendons and muscles. Blue veins snake under his white, almost dove-colored skin, and his scalp and chin are covered in cropped white hair. His neck and shoulders are wrapped in wires that hint at the presence of neural connectors under his uniform. The officer's face seems to be twisted in a perpetual grimace of annoyance and anger, and he greets you with a respectful nod. Lord Captain, Master Helmsman Revor, at your service. Do you know anything of a ship named the Fiery Reckoning? Revor winces as if in pain. I've heard that name. That much I'm sure of, but I can't recall the details. Huh. I wonder if it was part of that operation that the late Mort was put in charge of. If it was, then there's nothing I can tell you, Lord Captain. The whole thing was kept under wraps. Your best chance would be to ask the High Factotum. Maybe some of his treasury records have mentioned the fiery reckoning. I will do just that. You take care, Lord Grandpa. Lord Captain? Okay, now to talk to this man. Who the hell are you? Letard Farius. Clearly I've already talked to you before. I just do not remember you. Which is how that is going to continue to be. Alright, let's just start working our way down the ship. We got plenty of people to talk to. When you approach, Vigdis pulls away from fine-tuning another box and bows her head. Lord Captain, the ship informed me of our imminent meeting. Have the Vox spirits brought you anything interesting lately? You may be interested to know that a group of officers was discussing a grim rumor over lunch. Word has it, the apparition of Lord Captain Theodora has been sighted on board lately. Yes, you heard right. They say she is haunting the decks, dragging wayward crew members off into oblivion. Disquiet has spread throughout the ship, as the anomaly has been reported in different sections, sometimes entire kilometers apart. That's not good. We're fucking haunted? Master Heinrix van Kalux expressed interest in our communication stations and Voxnets a short while ago. The interrogator appears to be very well versed in the matters of sacred technology, and it worries me. A man of his knowledge and in his line of work is capable of discreetly planting his own devices in our systems. We will be very vigilant, Lord Captain, but you should try to be more careful as well. That will be all for now. I'm gonna have to go talk to him to make sure he's not setting up cameras and recording devices in the bathroom. Heinrix? Why are you being such a pervert?
To what do I owe this visit?
Oh god. I want to discuss the Cult of the Final Dawn. What can you tell me about it?
The cult's ordinary members are humans who have been corrupted by the archenemy, traitors to the Imperium, and accomplices of chaos. Participation in the cult's rituals always entails brainwashing, literally and figuratively. The longer cult members spend among other cultists, the less critically they think, and the more closely they resemble obedient livestock, stripped of their fear and instinct for self-preservation. The worst of them go to their deaths without an inkling of doubt, ready to take hundreds and thousands of souls with them. As for those at the top of the cult's hierarchy, we have not yet managed to get a lead on all of the cult's leaders. I imagine that some of them are hiding in the depths of the Coronis Expanse, but those who are orchestrating the fanatics on nearby worlds are hiding very well indeed, or receiving protection from above.
What do you mean, protection from above?
Governors, commanders, rogue traders. History is full of those who neglect their duty to the Golden Throne and seek allies in the wrong places.
Remind me, exactly what are you trying to do with the cult?
I need to confirm the reports from my agents. According to them, one of the cult's leaders is in the Kiava Gamma segment, an industrial world within the dominion of the Von Valancius dynasty. I hope you won't impede my investigation.
I will do nothing of the sort. You seem to have been investigating this cult for some time.
We discovered the first traces of it as soon as we arrived in the Coronis Expanse. Since then, the more we learn, the better we see just how far the roots of this blight extend. Destroying individual cells is pointless. We must cut this beast off at its head.
Let's talk about something else. You wanted to discuss the nature of your mission.
Yes, but not here. I wouldn't want our conversation to be gossip fodder on the bridge and in the officers' mess.
Yeah, fair enough. My room it is. Ooh, no loading screen. Fantastic. Ah, God damn it. I was really hoping that this was going to be voice acted. Thank you for finding an opportunity to talk. I trust now would be a good time to explain the reason for my return aboard your ship. I welcome the chance to assist the Inquisition with its inquiries, Van Calix. Lord Captain, your enthusiasm is commendable. The interrogator smiles, but his eyes remain cold. To business, then. The cult of the Final Dawn. The madmen preach their heretical doctrine among the denizens of the Coronis Expanse and instigate crimes against the throne and humanity. One such crime took place in your protectorate. The Lord Inquisitor considered it necessary to have one of his acolytes accompany the rogue trader on the voyage into the corrupted region. I also need to meet with one of my observers on the capital world of your domain. Why would the Ordo Xenos agents invest a chaos cult? You are well versed in how the Inquisition is organized, Lemedicus. Yes, initially our arrival in the Coronis Expanse was dictated by the need to fight Xenos, but there is more. The cult is tangentially related to my main specialization. Perhaps I will be able to reveal the full truth someday, but right now I ask you to display humility and patience. Fair enough. I'm hoping that this is the decision and I can ask all these, so we're just going to start at the top and work our way down. A chaos cult in my protectorate, Heinrix. Are you laying an accusation against my dynasty? Chaos treads softly, Lemedicus. The main danger of secret cults and sects is that they are like seeds. They can remain in the ground for decades, safe from all scrutiny, until an opportunity to sprout, grow, and bear monstrous fruit presents itself. The emergence of a cult on one of the rogue traders' planets does not mean that the dynasty head himself is a chaos worshipper. Having said that, it should be noted that Theodora von Valentius was famous for her loose interpretation of the freedoms granted by the warrant. Yeah, she kinda was. A bloodline can be stained by ancestral transgressions. If it is indeed so, it is in your best interest to do whatever necessary to redeem yourself, and then, perhaps, you will get a chance to salvage your dynasty's reputation. The Lord Inquisitor mentioned in his letter that he is willing to show lenience towards my actions that would otherwise be interpreted as radical. That is correct. I should show greater tolerance for the mistakes of a newly appointed rogue trader. To be frank, I am surprised the Lord Inquisitor is not the type to indulge the weaknesses of soul and mind, even in someone who only recently accepted the burden of a lofty title. So, back to business. You have spies on my worlds. The person I mentioned is not a spy, but a secretary in the Administratum Department on Dargonis. The planet's governor and Theodora were fully aware of his status. His duty is to fulfill the sacred oath to the Golden Throne and eliminate the threats to the Imperium, which the Coronis Expanse has in abundance. His name is Achilles Scalander. As soon as we contact Dargonis, I will introduce you as the new head of the dynasty. I am sure you will appreciate the presence of such an advisor among your subjects, and I suggest you heed his words at least occasionally. I'll consider it. I want to know more about this cult of the Final Dawn. Chaos worshippers, most often agents of the throne, run into lone renegades stirring up the rabble, insane prophets, and hysteric visionaries preaching the end of days. A passing comment, a mutant rebellion, an onslaught of monsters each time they come up with a new reason why people should prostrate themselves and quiver in fear. Much effort and the blood of these loyal to the Golden Throne were spent before we established the connection between those heretics. However, the Cult of the Final Dawn is something greater than a gaggle of misguided seers and fortune tellers. They cleverly spread their agents all over the Coronis expanse, disseminating heresy amongst honest people on the Imperial worlds. There is a certain strategy to their action that changes whenever we get too close. And finally, they have enough military power to have had 2 ships that we had sent after them later discovered as wreckage. The growing difficulty in making warp jumps is detrimental to us, but is unlikely to inconvenience those who engage in vile sorcery day in, day out. Heinrix sighs. After the events on Rykad Minoris, I suspected the cult might have built its nest inside Winterscale's domain, but the latest reports indicate it is your protectorate that is harboring heretics. Being in your entourage improves my chances of getting closer to their secrets. I have already agreed to give you a place aboard my ship. What else do you need? The rogue trader should deliver me to the system that contains the industrial world of Kiava Gamma. I will then accompany you to the surface and determine what the cult is planning and how it intends to use the resources that have fallen into their clutches, which may very well include the blessed engines of the Adeptus Mechanicus and even the followers of the Omnissiah themselves. I will be frank. The answer to this question is unlikely to please either of us. The machinations of chaos usually go beyond solely inflicting countless deaths and destruction. Having their plans come to fruition would lead to far more terrible consequences. One of the systems in the Coronis expanse is already lost. May the Emperor protect us from watching this tragedy play out again. Hopefully these are all questions. Why did your suspicions fall on Kiava Gamma? Disjointed pieces of data that finally merged into a single picture. Additionally, not long ago, a vessel from that world arrived on Footfall. The reports from the crew were confused and alarming, making me fear a planet-wide rebellion. We met a Chaos Space Marine on Rykad Minoris. Do we risk running into his brothers? That's a very good question. I have no doubt it will happen sooner or later. That's not good. Chaos Marine siding with the cult is very, very bad news. Yeah. Most likely they kept away until recently, pulling their puppet strings from a respectable distance. These traitors seldom show up alone. The best we can count on is having to deal with just a squad of space marines in the Coronis expanse and not an entire company. Jesus Christ, what are you getting me into, Heinrix? I won't let anyone throw their weight around on my worlds, be they servants of chaos, Xenos, or heretics. Ooh. Please don't end the conversation. I need to ask about the Drukhari who stole Rykad's son. Thank you. A commendable aspiration for a person who holds the fates of billions of people and dozens of Imperial worlds in his hands, which is why you need to be ever more vigilant when looking for seeds of corruption on your planets, lest they sprout someday and spell doom for whatever is tangled up in their roots. That is enough discussion about the archenemy's servants. Tell me about the Drukhari who stole Rykad's son. The Drukhari. One of the branches of the Eldari, an ancient and vicious Xenos race. Those creatures are a living terror to ordinary people, who fall prey to their raids, for the simple reason that the victims are not killed outright, but instead become their playthings. Just as you and I need air to survive, the Drukhari require psychic energy born from torment and pain, which they extract from their captives with uncanny expertise. Their ships, which are difficult to mistake for any other, arrive suddenly and undetected. Their stealth technologies greatly surpass the capabilities of standard Imperium auger arrays. The objective of their raids is never to capture a world or a ship. No, they are only interested in fresh victims. After filling their holds with living captives, they disappear into the webway, a different dimension, which conceals their greatest stronghold, Komarog, the dark city of the Drukhari, from which none can hope to escape. I do not know why the Drukhari stole Rykad's son and brought about the fulfillment of the cult's prophecies. Perhaps the Xenos themselves have played into the archenemy's designs, or perhaps Aurora's divinations in fact describe the Drukhari's actions. There is only one thing I can say with absolute certainty. There is no alliance between the cult of the Final Dawn and the Xenos. It is simply impossible. Okay, so I don't know how accurate this is. I don't know if it's been retconned or not, but they probably stole the sun for power. If I remember right, that's one of the things that the Drukhari do to power Komarog is go around and steal suns. But that might just be old lore? I must go about my business. Is there anything else I need to know? Let me put it this way. You may think whatever you want of me, but my goal is not to hinder you. I am here to help you fight against your foes you may not even be aware of. You may have my word that I will provide every assistance in uprooting the heresy that has sprouted on the Von Valencius worlds while their master was away, and that I will try to be more patient with the less grievous flaws the bearers of the warrant are sometimes known to have. Heinrix inclines his head. Thank you for sparing the time, Lord Captain. You are very welcome, Heinrix. Okay. Off to see the wizard. We still have plenty of people to talk to, and it is already past the halfway mark of the episode. I really was not joking when I said this was going to be an entire episode worth of talking.
Lord Captain?
Yeah. I have discovered that there are caches left by Theodora somewhere on Dargonis and Kiava Gamma. Do you know anything about this?
It is wise for a rogue trader to have caches where they can safely store important information. And utterly unwise to share the coordinates of such caches with anyone. Even one's most trusted associates.
Fair enough. I do love you, Abelard.
I'm afraid I do not know how to find the caches, but I can offer some help. Your predecessor used this numeric code to deactivate certain defense systems in her service. If I know Lady Theodora as well as I think, then I'm quite certain that she left her caches well guarded. In that case, this code will be useful to you.
Fair enough. Thank you very much, my friend. Let's see. Oh, let's talk to everybody. Oh, I can actually put in a good word for those guys that I met way long time ago? Okay. Thank you for dispatching such attentive guards to my bath chamber. Taking a bath with them was entertaining. Sourback's gaze becomes very still. What? Excuse me, Lord Captain. What did you just say? Oh no. I invited them to come and have a swim with me. They are fine people and good conversationalists. I am pleased to have been of service. She hisses, gripping the handle of her maul, which does not... Aww. Damn it. Damn you, Joe Costa. You leave them alone. Oh, God. I do not know if I have time for this. I want to know what you think about the other officers. I do not trust them. but I do not trust anyone. Mistress Ptolemy has too much power, and will surely be tempted to start deciding for herself what information to share with the crew on your behalf, and what to withhold. Ravor is closely intertwined with the ship's systems, which opens up plenty of opportunities for sabotage. He must be watched. As for Danrock, forgive me, but a man of his size and habits cannot help but steal. What about Avallard? The Seneschal is a model of competence and fidelity, and all the other officers and enforcers look up to him with gratitude. A grimace of fierce devotion takes hold of Sourback's face before she abruptly grits her teeth and continues. It is all the more distressing to see that the years have not been kind to the deeply respected Master Wersarian. Soon there will be no rejuvenant treatment that can save him from the mistakes inherent in such advanced age. But we are ever watchful, and will be there to steady the trembling hand of the honored veteran if need be. Yeah, I want to know more about your service. I am ready to answer any questions, Lord Captain. What are the Master of Arms' duties? I am responsible for upholding safety and order aboard the ship. Guard duties, patrols, finding and punishing troublemakers. In addition, my enforcers ensure that the crew follow all directives and carry out their task properly. As they say in my family, a servant who shows disobedience today prepares for a riot tomorrow. There are thousands of people aboard this vessel. How do you maintain order? 2 words, Lord Captain: suppression and fear. The base nature of the rabble cries for an iron grip, lest they give in to their animal urges. We have many well-tested measures to prevent it: random night searches, preventative interrogations, corporal punishment, and executions. Of course, the laws of the ship equally apply to the officers. We eradicate the canker of insubordination wherever we find it, without mercy. I hope you will not repeat the mistakes of the previous Master-at-Arms. You can be sure of that. He was a fine enforcer, but suffered from the fatal flaw of trusting his associates. I myself lack that weakness, and trust no one except for you, Lord Captain. Let us change the subject. That is all for now. Please don't beat the crap out of those 2 guards. I actually really like them. Alright, Janris. Pleasure to see you, Lord Captain. How may I be of assistance? Have you ever heard the name the Fiery Reckoning? From what I can tell, it is a void ship of some sort. There was a mention of it in one of Theodora's documents I found. I am afraid it is not immediately familiar to me. Your Lordship, please allow me a moment. I say, House von Valencius did indeed sign a contract with the owners of a vessel with the designation Fiery Reckoning. There are transactions, records of the ship picking up cargo from Kiava Gamma. Well, this is odd. The data log ends there. Apparently, the ship had some interactions with one of our workshops on your industrial world. I beg your pardon, your lordship, but that is the extent of the assistance I can provide you in regard to this particular matter. Well, thank you anyway, Janris. It's good talking to you. I will need to be doing some trading later, so we'll be seeing each other then. Hello, Jay.
Allow me to thank you again for helping me with the cargo, Sherin. I am sure the Ashmags who squirreled away my goods won't give up so easily, and I'll hear more about their scheming yet. Let's strike a deal, Sherin. I will watch your back if you do me a favor and watch mine. Well, enough jokes. Is there something you wanted?
Yeah, you wanted to talk about some kind of business?
Oh, Sherin, I did manage to spark your interest. Allow me to invite you to a more private place. My words are meant for your ears alone.
All right. Shireen, the Exalted One himself brought us together the day you crossed Vladim's threshold. He led us to the cargo and gave his blessing for its return. Do you know what people on my world would say when such a thing happens? What's gained is to be shared with your neighbor. Ooh. She points at the containers in front of her. One contains a polished Eldari rifle, a rare model, and the other holds an ornate sword. I am sharing what I've gained with you. Please accept these humble gifts in honor of our wildly successful, though suddenly struck, friendship. Ooh. A truly wonderful gift. I will accept it with gratitude. I knew you would appreciate the Xenos mastery of their craft. Jay beams at you, curling a lock of her black hair around an augmented finger. After a brief pause, she awkwardly continues. So, the matter I wanted to discuss with you is related to my business. You know that I sell Xeno artifacts to interesting Imperial subjects, and Imperial trinkets to Xenos. Business is going well, my network runs even without my participation. But when it comes to expansion, well, that is where I hit a wall. Rivals, envious of my success, Jay throws up her hands. Falco especially. I am certain the theft of the cargo was his doing, but I can never predict what that Ashmag will do next. And while the Imperium's authority may be fragmented in the Expanse, it would crack down on people of my profession at any moment. I think I follow. You wish to use me. Exalted One Forefriend. Could such a lowly servant of the Emperor use the radiant bearer of the warrant like some kind of tool? The other way around, however. If the rogue trader put in a good word for me with the servants of the Adeptus Administratum, I could become an official trade representative of the Imperium. Just imagine it. A little scrap of paper will offer me and my agents protection against Ashmag schemes, far better than any refractor field. And even the Inquisition will have to think twice before they mess with me, because I'll be a representative of the law in my own right. And the best part of all of this will cost you precisely nothing, Shireen. All you have to do is stop by the Administratum Palace and obtain a certificate from the Master of Seals. My informants tell me that the palace is located on Dargonis, your capital world. You see how everything has aligned so wonderfully? And of course, I will repay you in kind. How do I benefit from you gaining official status? Besides being in receipt of my eternal gratitude, Shireen? Won't it be beneficial to have someone in your retinue with the weight of authority behind them, rather than just another pawn? One slip of paper and I will be able to extend my network to systems far beyond Footfall. My agents will be your eyes and ears throughout the Expanse. Ooh. I do kind of like the idea of being able to have spies everywhere. But I know this deal benefits you far more than it does me. But why not? That sounds simple enough. I will help you. Exalted One bless you, Shireen. I couldn't find a better business partner in all the Expanse. Friendship is a gift from the Exalted One, and we must cherish it. And you will have no complaints about our friendship, Shireen. I may not be a trade representative of the Imperium just yet, but I can still help you with whatever you need. You must have some faction in mind that you would like to establish relations with. The Avir Drusians, the hot-headed pirates of the Casablanca. You merely need to use the right words, like a key for a lock, and the people will open up their hearts to you, or their wallets. I will arrange everything, you merely have to ask. They have... So Casablanca has better Xenos weapons, which you are kind of the only one who can use those at the moment. The Drusians have better holy weapons, which is good for Argenta, and I think Cassia as well. Mechanicus have that sniper rifle and oil wells. And then the pirates have a bunch of random stuff. I'm going Mechanicus. Nice. 2,000 faction reputation. Not a problem, Shireen. I will have my people put in a good word for you in the right circles. I will humbly wait until you steer your vessel toward Dargonis, the Mercatum Tabula Officiale. It sounds almost as majestic as the Warrant of Trade. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Nope. Elevator is this way. Let's go check in with Pascal and Adira. And then we still have stuff to talk to Jay about, but we are starting to cut it a little close on time.
The Omnissiah knows all, comprehends all.
Nothing new to talk about, but good seeing you, buddy.
May your labors be effective and fruitful.
How about you, Abel? Nothing new. That's very fair. Adira might have something new to talk about. We should have the time for one subject before we're gonna have to call it. No. Maybe you were very close to Theodora. Well, it's not like I'm giving her the coordinates.
Me? Not a clue, Lord Captain. I don't know who Lady Theodora would have told about a thing like that, but it definitely wasn't me. Why would you whisper that to me now? Why? Lord Captain, I don't know anything about caches or Lady Theodora's secrets, but the voices have just reminded me about something. I was once given the chance to try some real wine. Lady Theodora gave me some. Not just any old synthetic booze, but her favorite plonk. She always drank it in her palace. It was golden in color, and its name was Flame of Purity. A silly name. But the flavor was so intense, and like nothing I'd ever tasted before or since. Apologies. It's probably not important, but I don't know anything more than that.
The Flame of Purity. I will remember it. Thank you, Adira.
Of course. Always at your service. Whenever you need me.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, well, before we finish talking to Jay and go turn in that quest, I think we are going to have to call it here for today. Unfortunately, we are getting to be about that time of the hour. So, I would like to thank each and every one of you for coming along with me. I hope you all have had a wonderful day. And until next time, have fun and stay safe out there.